French side. CC, how impressed were you with what you saw out of this French team?
Oh, very impressed. Not only their talent level, how they approached the whole World Cup. We talked about this being the most exciting World Cup that we could remember, and finishing off with the 4-2 win. They have everything. You had set plays, you had penalties, you had everything in this World Cup that you wanted to see, but the class of the World Cup was definitely France.
Listen, France was the best team throughout this tournament, and see, I don't think you're going to like this, but man, oh man, I felt badly for Croatia in the first half of this game on Sunday. Croatia dominated the first half from a shots perspective, from a possession perspective. How did France get its 2 goals? First one was on a set piece, a beautifully done set piece, but on a phantom call, right? I mean, it was a good job by the French player drawing the foul, but there wasn't a foul. How did they get their second goal? That video-assisted review, like, you guys know how I feel about replay in sports. And so it changed the tenor of the game.
And the Croatian coach said that too. He said after that happened, it took all the air out of our team.
And Croatia still had its chances, and they still needed to defend better in the second half. And France was the better team throughout this tournament. But it felt to me like Croatia played a much better opening 45. And for their trouble, they were, instead of being up 1-0, down 2-1. Then in the second half, they have to be more aggressive. They have to take more chances. They allow the third goal, and then, of course, the fourth goal, which essentially ended it. But from start to finish, France was the most impressive side in this tournament. I thought Croatia could have stolen it, on Sunday, though.
Listen, we're a little biased just because it was on Fox. I have to say, and I think you guys both agree, this was the most entertaining, most exciting World Cup in recent memory, just from start to finish, and the Americans weren't even in it.
No, if you look at how the play went, and we went through the first stages, very, very exciting, totally unpredictable. We didn't have the big guns. We saw them getting upset. We didn't have the continent of Africa making some type of impact. So we had a little bit of everything in this year's World Cup.
And this also goes to show you the talent level of this sport worldwide. So Germany had made at least the final 8 in every tournament since '54. They don't make it out of the knockout round. We thought we were going to get the Ronaldo-Messi quarterfinal matchup. Both of their teams get knocked out in the round of 16. Brazil gets knocked out earlier than expected. And yet, despite that, Paul Pogba is there at the end. Mbappe, Rakitic, Modric. Like, all these countries have such elite-level talent that no matter who ended up in the final 2, you were going to see star players. And this entire tournament, only 1 0-0 draw, and that was in a meaningless game at the end of the group stage.
I think Brazil is favored in the next World Cup already.
They're favored in all of them. Every year. That's why I said I pick them every time. I think they're always the favorite.
All right, let's talk a little LeBron James. He had a very busy weekend. You know, it's hard to show up at a Laker game and make a splash. Laker games are usually, 20% players and 90% stars? Is that, no? Okay, we'll work on that again next time around. Yesterday, the Lakers played Summer League ball. The biggest star sat center court, LeBron James, in a pair of Laker shorts. Magic Johnson spoke over the weekend, preaching patience to his fans, even though they have LeBron James. Nick, I'll ask you, are you buying that LeBron can be as patient as Magic Johnson?
No. Listen, I'm sure LeBron believes he will be, and I'm sure LeBron will intently try to be. But I've seen this guy play for 15 years. I saw him go to Cleveland 4 years ago, write a letter saying how he knows they're not ready to win right now, how he knows it's going to be a long process. And by December of that year, he was so frustrated with where the team was at that he was taking a little Miami siesta. And then David Griffin, his former GM, said the happiest he'd ever seen LeBron, aside from winning the title, was the moment LeBron saw Timothy Mozgov in a hotel lobby for the first time because the Cavs had just traded for him and LeBron thought it was salvation. They were getting a big man. That's how frustrated he was 4 months into his Cavs tenure. Like, LeBron can say he's going to be patient and take the long view. Once the games start, he holds his teammates to a super high standard, and he's never played with a team this young. There's going to be growing pains associated with that. I think it'll work out, but I don't think LeBron's going to be relaxed early.
I have to disagree with you on that one based on your point, the team being so young. LeBron realized this roster, and you could see with the early moves, it was a move of patience. That's why they signed Rondo to a 1 year. That's why they signed Lance to a 1 year. So LeBron has it baked in there. I'm going to have to be patient. So there's two things that he didn't have when he went to Miami and when he went back to Cleveland. That being a young team, and also he didn't have the Golden State Warriors as we know them. Golden State, the way they are now, you have nothing but patience. Houston, you got to be patient. Any other team that's trying to win a championship, you better be patient because of Golden State with their 4 All-Stars currently. Boogie Cousins added to that. So that right there, I believe that LeBron at no point in his career, and I believe this to be his last move. The Miami was not his last move. Going back to Cleveland was not his last move. With this being the last move of his career, he's going to have some patience in going to the Lakers.
What choice does LeBron have if he isn't patient at this point? The whole city, Magic, the league, they've all put stock into what he's going to do here. He knows it's a young team with a lot of rising up-and-coming talent. It would behoove him to be patient.
Well, listen, I guess you say would behoove him. He can't make trades. He can't fire the coach.
It's a big influence on all of that.
Yeah, but listen, they from a team building perspective are clearly taking the long view, and they will continue to. But what do I expect at some point this year, when the young players keep playing like young, or start playing like young players, assuming if they don't get Kawhi, that we're going to see one of those passive-aggressive tweets from LeBron? Of course. Do I think we're going to potentially see another February what's wrong with LeBron story? Yeah, probably. Like, the track record, you mentioned earlier, best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. We've seen that for, 6 straight Februaries from LeBron. There's one other added variable here that I think will test LeBron's patience more than Miami or Cleveland. And that is, the regular season standings matter all of a sudden. He doesn't have the track record of, okay, I'll come in your building. If we don't have the best record in a playoff series, I'll steal home court in game 1. Eat that. Now you're in the West. And now all of a sudden a bad couple weeks and you can fall down to 6, 7, 8 in the standings. And now all of a sudden you aren't a favorite over Boston even though they have home court. That is a factor that LeBron's never had to deal with.
Yeah, that Western Conference, that's a real thing as far as the record. The difference between number 3 last year, Portland, and who was going to be number 8, and teams 9 and 10 who didn't make the playoffs, 3 games separating all those teams. Yes, the regular season becomes far more important, and LeBron realizes he's just trying to win 1 championship. So I think he'll have more patience in deciding with the Lakers this year.
Also, there's this freshness to his approach to basketball now. He's on a new team. His family's happy where he is. For the first time in many years, he's getting along with management. He likes who he's playing for. Maybe the approach is a little bit different. There's not necessarily a laid-back approach on the court, but let me wait and see how this team kind of grows with me.
Listen, I think he will absolutely be patient as far as trying to push the team to make moves. I don't think he'll do that. I don't think LeBron's going to ask them to make any win-now trades. They can take the longer view because he's not on a 1-year contract. I'm just telling you, my prediction is
we're going
to see some visible frustration from him early because he has not, since he's been this version of LeBron, he's never played with kids.
Yeah, but I don't believe that's part of being patient. If you're playing basketball and you're competing with people, you want to be able to try to win. You want to improve. You want to be competitive. And just because he's frustrated, that doesn't mean that he's still not patient. He's very, very demanding, not only of his own ability, but those around him, and that's the reason why he's an elite basketball player. He shouldn't be patient on a day-to-day basis, but from a long-term standpoint, I believe that with him, Rob Pelinka, and Magic, they will continue to have enough talks that LeBron will be patient.
Well, if optics are anything, it was great to see that he was courtside for a summer league game, sat there for the whole game, didn't leave, he didn't get up once, he really wanted to see what's happening.
And those were dope shorts.
Listen, we are very honest with the audience all the time. I want you to know that whatever we're thinking, we generally tell you. You smell so good, and there's a fan that's attached right here, and I am just smelling CC. I would love to show people there's this fan that's just whipping CC.
Wafting towards
anything. They never use must in good smell.
Musk, not must. M-U-S-K. Musk is positive. Must is
anyway,
not.
I don't know what these guys are talking
I don't
about.
think there's a good brand.
You smell tremendous. If the fan was coming this way, I would smell you too. It's a shame this isn't smell
It's called Savage.
Smells really good. It's driving me crazy. Hey,
and Cece will take a free bottle if you're watching.
We got to take a break. Coming up, Steeler fans on high alert today. Can Pittsburgh and Le'Veon Bell get a long-term deal done before today's deadline? That's next on First Things First.
Jenna, I'm getting a walk to you. What is that? Bone broth?
Baseball Buzz, Monday, July 16th.
The Midsummer Classic is here. Baseball's brightest stars ready to showcase their skills in our nation's capital.
Brown skying one high and deep to left, and he done it again. He has. See you later on a broken bat.
Don't miss a moment of baseball history as Trout, Harper, and the best of the American and National Leagues play in the MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
Fruits and veggies are essential to your health, but it's tough to get enough of their nutrients. New One a Day with Nature's Medley is the only complete multivitamin with antioxidants from one total serving of fruits and veggies. Try New One a Day with Nature's Medley.
Every day is a new mountain. And sure, you can think about how big it is, how daunting, how challenging, or you can face it. So everyone gets to where they need to go with standard 7-passenger seating. And no one runs out of battery with available wireless charging. And you'll stay the course with optional 8-inch touchscreen navigation. Because when you're in a Sorrento, there's no mountain in life that can't be conquered.
Let's go.
Woo! Good job.
Who would have thought? Who would have guessed? An energy company helping cars emit less. Making cars lighter. It's a good place to start. Advanced oils for those hard-working parts. Fuels that go further so drivers pump less. Improving efficiency is what we do best. Energy lives here.
Lady Jennifer, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Excalibur.
I spent the last 4 years pulling this out of the storm.
I thought that was a legend.
Sir Doug.
Bud Light Lime.
And Bud Light Orange. These are very rare.
Dilly dilly.
Oh, here, let me just move this.
Bit of misery. Dilly dilly.
Bud Light Lime and Bud Light Orange, brewed with real citrus peels. Why would you go out of your way and wander around a warehouse for paint when you can just swing by your local Ace? Ace has top-rated paint like one-coat coverage Valspar, can match any color, and mixes it with something that's hard to find. Award-winning service. Because the way we see it, if anyone is going to go out of their way,
It should be us.
it's the Ace Extra Mile Promise. If it ever takes more than one trip to complete your paint project, we'll bring you what you need, and delivery is free.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Looking good.
At Booking.com, we can't guarantee you'll be good at that water jet thingy, but we can guarantee the best price on this hotel or any accommodation from homes to yurts. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
My mom is getting older, and projects around the house aren't as easy for her to handle by herself, but I can't always be there when she needs me. So when her roof started to leak, I went to Home Advisor and found the right pro to help. I can read their reviews, check their credentials, and it's free to use. If anything comes up with my mom's home and I'm not available, Home Advisor always is.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. Oh! Man, could this day get any better?
Dr. Pepper Cherry Dog! A cherry treat!
Thank you, Tiny Wagon.
You're welcome. That's right, I talk. Deal with it. Dr. Pepper Cherry. Cherry on.
First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Welcome back. We are inside Nationals Park, side of the All-Star Game. Beautiful day here. First Things First. Taking over for a few hours before we let the others have their share, their crack at the festivities.
Man, I'm just enjoying sitting here in this
First time here,
stadium.
Nick.
First time in this stadium. The signage is great. The grass looks amazing.
Hold on.
Cece was out there consulting with the landscapers earlier. It's just great. We just don't get out of the studio very often, given the time of the show, so early in the morning. If there's any live event out on the West Coast, it's almost impossible for us to go.
It's the day before.
And so it's just exciting to be out here. I'm just thrilled.
Alrighty then, we are going to go viral while Nick continues to take this in. Yesterday, France won the World Cup after an exhilarating tournament. Mbappe's goal in the 65th minute made him and the legendary Pele the only two teens to ever score in the final game. Well, the game had social media in an absolute frenzy. Take a look at a couple of these. Texas defensive end J.J. Watt tweeted, "Mbappe is so fast. Literally, what were we all thinking?" You know, anytime anyone uses literally, it's my favorite. New Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins tweeted out, "Croatia made it interesting. France was just too much. I hate that we have to wait another 4 years. Hashtag World Cup Finals." And soccer legend
from Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins always with the cutting edge opinion.
So controversial. Zlatan, is that? Am I?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah,
what that guy said. He tweeted, "Let them talk, but the game speaks for itself." At Paul Pogba and hashtag My Apprentice. It was really a great game.
It was an unbelievable game. See, I know how you feel about this, though. By 2020, certainly by... Wait, I'm sorry, 2022, certainly by 2026, we need our Mbappe. He's out there somewhere. The American Mbappe is out there somewhere.
Better be playing soccer right now.
Well, by then, he certainly needs to.
As a fetus.
Absolutely.
What Nick is referring to is a young, talented player that's got sprinter-like speed that we have thousands of them in America, but none of them are playing soccer. Nick, guess what? I got good news and bad news. Good news is the World Cup will be here, right, in 4 years?
8 years. In
another 8 years, yes. But there won't be a brother out there, Mbappe, running for the United States. He'll be playing in the NFL or playing in the NBA.
Listen, I think they're right now. He's a 10 or 11-year-old that's a star multi-sport athlete that saw what Mbappe did, and while watching the coverage was like, hold up, someone paid $250 million just to have the right to pay him money? Maybe soccer's the way to go.
Well, they saw Paul George. They also saw LeBron. They also say, I doubt that.
Maybe they're not 6'8", though.
I'm sure their parents are talking to him.
The kid's 10 years old. He's already conflicted. He's having an identity crisis.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk some football. It is deadline day for one Le'Veon Bell. The Pittsburgh Steelers know this. They're up on these sort of things. They have until 4 p.m. Eastern time today to ink a deal. Head coach Mike Tomlin said he's excited and hopeful Le'Veon Bell's deal gets done. But according to Ian Rappaport, neither side is optimistic it will happen. CeCe, how badly do Bell and the Steelers need to get this done today?
Well, I don't think they need to get the deal done. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have decided that there's a certain cost that they're willing to put into their running back, Le'Veon Bell. They did that last year by making him a franchise. Did the same thing this year by making him a franchise. I don't look at them to give him the type of guarantees. We talked about DeMarco Murray, the shelf life of running backs. Why would you give him another 16, 17 million a year, in excess of 60 million over 4? So I think Pittsburgh Steelers have done what they thought was right. They have Antonio signed up long-term. They have Ben signed up long-term. And those other resources are going to spread them throughout the team. I don't believe that they're going to sign L. Bell to a long-term contract.
DeMarco Murray is an interesting, I don't want to say cautionary tale, but an interesting comparison. DeMarco Murray in his 6th year in the league had almost 1,300 rushing yards. After his 7th year in the league, he retired. So L. Bell's played 5 years. Last year he had almost 1,300 rushing yards. He shows no signs of slowing down, and stylistically, he's a different enough player than DeMarco Murray. You can see him lasting longer.
Well, it's not only the difference in style, but it's an overall ability. He avoids far more contact than Murray was able to do, and Murray's a one-dimensional running back. He can only run downhill, not very, very good at running sideways, and not a very good receiver coming out of the backfield. Those are things that shorten his career.
And Bell is a lot of those things you said DeMarco Murray isn't good at. Bell is arguably the best in the league at, arguably the best pass-catching running back in football. He is the most patient running back that I've seen, and I hesitate to use his name, but the most patient running back I've seen since Barry Sanders. His ability to get the ball and almost stop and wait and look. All those reasons you would expect him to have a longer career. But the reason why I think it is very important, for these two sides to get a deal done is if they don't, this is his last year as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Why is that so important, though?
Because
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers think it's more important to have Antonio Brown and have Ben Roethlisberger long-term than they do Le'Veon Bell.
They think that.
They obviously think that.
Yeah.
But theoretically, you could have all three. It's not like they're in negotiations with Bell and one of those guys. Those guys are already locked up. Now, maybe Big Ben is wanting a raise soon. AB is locked in. But if this is what has made the Pittsburgh Steelers special, or potentially special, because they haven't actually
what's made them a good fantasy team? Well, they haven't been special.
Right, that's why I said what potentially special. A very high-powered offense that up until last year was tracking towards a long playoff run has been top 5 quarterback, top 5 wide receiver, top 5 running back. You lose the running back part of that, they're a different football team.
Why have the Steelers been so hesitant to just lock him up? They did it they're going to do it with their quarterback. They did it with their star wide receiver. They have an opportunity to keep those three together and have this potent offense for years and years. And yet I feel like we play this game every year with the franchise tag with him.
Well, the thing about running backs, if you talk about the climate, how much are you going to invest in a top-flight running back? The numbers aren't there like quarterbacks and wide receivers, defensive linemen, linebackers that you would have to give him somewhere between $17 to $20 million. So the price of running backs has been held down. The shelf life of running backs has been basically the same. We know, as far as a star player, they stay in their prime shorter than the other positions. That's the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, besides a few little things off the field that the public doesn't know about, I believe why they haven't committed to him long term.
And with Antonio Brown, they made him the highest paid receiver in football, but not by a factor of 2. Like who's the highest paid guy? Okay, give AB an extra 15% on top of that and we're good. L. Bell wants to reset the running back marketplace. The 5th highest paid running back in football, 5th highest paid, makes around $7 million a year. The highest paid other than L. Bell is right around 10. And Le'Veon was saying he wants $16 million. Like, even if he brings that down, I don't think the Steelers even want to pay him what they're paying him this year on the franchise tag long-term with guarantees. So I think if it was just make me the highest paid running back, that would have been done. But he wants that far more than that. He wants highest paid running back plus.
I'm sure Pittsburgh has offered him a contract where he would be the highest paid running back.
Absolutely right.
So there's this window that the Steelers have right now that they're playing with, and they've been very consistent the last couple of years. They just haven't quite gotten over the hurdle,
over the past Patriots.
How much does this affect that window if you suddenly take Bell out of it?
Listen, I think Big Ben's obviously more important for them. I think Antonio Brown is more important for them. But people can't act like running backs the style or the ability of Le'Veon Bell grow on trees. Like, he is a special player for a reason. He is one of the best dual-threat running backs for a reason. I'm not going to act like if they don't have him, you can take him off the list of Super Bowl contenders, but you don't get better losing Le'Veon Bell. And to me, it adds more of a sense of urgency to this season.
Yeah, well, one thing, Jenna, is you look back, and when was the last time we've had a 1,500-yard rusher win a Super Bowl? When was the last time we had a 1,200-yard rusher win a Super Bowl? It's not important to winning a Super Bowl. Pittsburgh Steelers have not been an elite defense. I believe their chance of being elite on the defensive end when they get rid of the running back and spend some of those resources. So I'm not about fantasy football, and that's right now what they are. They're a good fantasy football team. They get a lot of points every week, but that defense has been weak, and to me, that's what's prevented them from being in the championship conversation.
All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up on the other side, oh boy, did you hear what Jerry Rice had to say? Is he the best football player ever? He seems to think so. That's next. This is First Things First.
It's the summer of Jeep. Time to get out there in the redesigned Jeep Cherokee. Or the Jeep Compass.
Mike said, "Hey guys, almost at Vista Point."
With legendary capability and the ultimate in-car experience, who knows where the adventure will take you. Connect with great deals on the official vehicles of summer. Get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on 2019 Jeep Cherokee models.
Arrest you, George. He was 2 years old. He's family.
He's growing, isn't he?
Let's do this.
Rampage, only on Blu-ray Tuesday.
How does Kind make a great tasting protein bar? We crack some nuts, add rich dark chocolate, spread crunchy peanut butter, and pack in 12 grams of protein and 4 awesome flavors. Kind protein from real food.
There's little rest for a single dad, and back pain made it hard to sleep and get up on time. Then I found Aleve PM.
The only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve.
I'm back.
Aleve PM for a better AM.
Did you know that it's important to keep your stories interessante? And did you know that on a clear night, with a good telescope, you can still see the six-pack Mexico's astronauts left on the moon? Yep, still there. Dos Equis. Keep it interessante.
It's so convenient. The dark web is a supermarket where identity thieves buy and sell your personal information. In fact, millions of identities are stolen every year. But now you can protect yourself with Experian. See if your social security number, phone, and email are at risk with a free dark web triple scan at Experian.com/scan. Experian. Identity protection has a new identity.
Oh! Being this day get any better?
Dr. Pepper, cherry dog! A cherry treat.
Thank you, Tiny Wagon.
You're welcome. That's right, I talk. Deal with it. Dr. Pepper Cherry. Cherry on.
For I can't help falling in love with you.
Give extra, get extra.
Really? Man, this is what I feel like when I wear regular shoes. Cramped and uncomfortable.
We can arrange a little upgrade.
Which is why I wear Skechers wide fit shoes. They have extra room throughout. They're like a luxury ride for my feet. Try Skechers wide fit shoes.
Introducing E-Trade Personalized Investments. Professionally managed portfolios customized to help meet your financial goals. You'll know what you're invested in and how it's performing, so you can spend more time floating about on your inflatable swan.
No matter who rides point, there are over 10,000 Allstate agents riding sweep. Call one today. Are you in good hands?
Why would you go out of your way and wander around a warehouse for paint when you can just swing by your local Ace? Ace has top-rated paint like one-coat coverage Valspar, can match any color, and mixes it with something that's hard to find, award-winning service. Because the way we see it, if anyone is going to go out of their way,
It should be us.
it's the Ace Extra Mile Promise. If it ever takes more than one trip to complete your paint project, we'll bring you what you need, and delivery is free.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
You know, I came up with the great era of great young shortstops. We had Garcia Parra, Derek Jeter, Vizquel, and you have guys like Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper. I know when I saw those guys doing great, it inspired me. Any of that, when you see Harper or Chris Bryant go deep and you want to outdo them?
You know, you always want to hit a home run, and obviously I want them to do good, and it definitely, you know, being on the West Coast, they start at 4.